in today's age, we're not seeing a lot of the African American youngsters play baseball. Why is that?
I'm gonna let the encyclopedia start.
Thank you, sir. I think it has something to do with one, it's not a cool game to play, number one. Number two, you don't see kids like you did back in the day. So when you guys grew up, and I grew up myself, you don't see kids playing pickup baseball games anymore.
Correct.
They don't play strikeout. They don't play one fly up like they used to.
Stoop ball.
Oh yeah, that's what we used to play. Everything was associated around baseball in New York. It was, I mean, you play stoop ball, you play stick ball, you get one fly out. Everything was in the playground was predicated around baseball.
And the thing is that people wanted to be Willie Mays. They wanted to be Duke Snyder. They wanted to be Mantle. They wanted to be McCovey. Even if you go to the 70s, they wanted to be Dave Parker. They wanted to be Pops. They wanted to be Lou Brock. Yeah. And you go into the 80s, they wanted to be Griffey. They wanted to be Puckett and Gwynn.
Tim Raines.
Thank you. And Ricky Henderson. But when the 80s came, then people wanted to be Magic. They wanted to be Bird. They wanted to be Rice. And then when the 90s hit, everybody wanted to be Mike.
Right. One thing I will say about baseball is, there's a few things about baseball. It's considered, I think, the most boring or the least action-packed sport. So I don't know how much it's also the longest season. It is taxing as hell.
It's long.
Mm-hmm. So those are two things. I'm not sure, how much those really factor in.
They do play a factor. I was saying also in the green room, I think that you have to understand a couple of things. Yeah. One, at its roots, baseball is a country sport, right? So when we were all in the South, when our foreparents were in the South, there was a lot of green, a lot of open space, stuff like that. After World War II, our family started migrating. They started migrating out here to California. They migrated up north to the big cities. Wasn't a whole lot of playground to play on the grass.
So you need space.
You need space, right? And so, like he said, then I don't think baseball.
Lots.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think baseball did a very good job of marketing baseball to the inner cities. Mm-hmm. And basketball did
a very good job.
Right. And Phil Knight and David Stern.
Yeah. David Stern
stole that.
Definitely.
And another thing that just killed baseball was the '94 strike, because once the '94 strike hit, that's when football passed.
Yes,
but
here's the question about it. Why? The question that I'm sorry, I forget your name. Clifton. The OG has asked here is why black athletes? It hasn't. Baseball has certainly not died. Why is it that the black athletes were so impacted by that?
I said earlier. Also, the other thing is that in baseball, if you're 18, 19 years old, you still have to linger in the minors for 3 or 4 years before you even see pro football or a major league team
and a contract.
I'm 18 years old. I'm Kobe Bryant. I'm one of the best players on the planet at 18. I'm LeBron James. That's instant money. I was saying the 12th man makes $500,000. Yes. I play 1 year at Georgia Tech, and I get drafted. I go into the draft. I'm good enough to make the team. I don't have to be a superstar, but all of a sudden, I got $500,000 in my pocket.
You might make that at Virginia.
I had a friend when Glenn Rice was at Michigan. Right. She went to our church. Yeah. She said that Glenn Rice took a pay cut to come to the NBA.
Wow.
So there's a lot, and it's again, the dads, and I was going to say that too. My dad was a baseball guy.
Right.
My grandfather was a baseball guy. As a matter of fact, baseball is the one thing that ties me to my grandfather.
Mine too.
Right. And I learned baseball from my granddad. So, I actually learned the game. So it fascinates me what he taught me when I was 14 years old. And so it's the one thing that ties us to the past. Mm-hmm. That basketball and football don't, but it tied me to my grandpa, and black fathers didn't pass that down.
Now I'm gonna ask you guys this: what year did welfare and food stamps come into play?
Ooh, it's a good question. Probably 70, 71, 72.
Okay, so late 60s, early
Late
70s.
70s,
Right?
that's correct.
So is this around the time, you guys educate me, is this around the time that the black woman realized she didn't have to deal with the black man and the stuff he was putting her through anymore?
Wow, that's a tough question to answer.
Now, see, I think that was later in the maybe in the '80s when that started to happen. Because you did, I mean, in the '70s, you know, Papa was a Rolling Stone, but I mean, he was still around.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And-
I tell you, I mean to cut you off for a minute. But in New York, Daniel Patrick Moynihan wrote a paper. He was a senator, and he wrote a paper in 1971 about the breakup of the black family. That was in 1971, and so that paper caught a lot of controversy, and he basically said black fathers were absent, and that's the reason the black family is breaking up.
Now-
He put that on us.
So is there a connection to baseball with that? Because you guys both said that's what's connect you to your dad and your grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's a connection with why African Americans don't play baseball? I think it's fair because it's like we were allowed to choose something on our own.
Well, I mean, I think that a lot of things now are happening in this present day. I mean, I think that the African Americans are being priced out of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have all these other sports that are called "quote unquote" country club sports, but I have family members that are on like these traveling teams. You need the traveling teams now, and it was I think it was $2,500 for this traveling team, just for the uniform. Just to get the
Oh my
uniform.
God!
That doesn't include the travel,
Right.
going from state to state. I mean,
Wow.
my cousin, he was on the national team down in the Dominican Republic over the summer.
Right.
So I mean, it's there. Who has that now? How many of the single mothers have that?
Right.
It would be good for us to get some numbers the next time.
Right.
It'd be interesting to see. I don't really know what the percentages are in terms of the reduction of African Americans in baseball
Right.
over the past, let's say, 10 years.
There's several articles that talk about that.
I'm
And
sure.
Sports Illustrated did at least 2 or 3 articles on that. So there's information out there to give you statistics on that.
All right, look, man, we could talk about this forever.
All night.
I realize I'm on the set with true baseball heads, but this is where age come into play, right?
It does.
It's because you guys are still connected to the game.
Correct.
Invest in your neighborhood.